Welcome everyone, my name is Chun Yu, and today we will be going over how you can create a panorama module for Uniview using the Worldviews Network template. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over to my desktop so that you can see it. If you might already have a link to the template files, but if you don't, you can go to files.worldviews.net, and once you get into those directories, you'll see a technical folder, and in there you will see a number of different template zip files, and what we want is the panorama template. I've already downloaded that, so I'm going to go ahead and close this and open it up from the zip file, and I'm going to drag this onto my desktop. And so here are the contents of that zip file. First of all, we can look at the image that's included, and this is a panorama. You can of course replace this with your own panorama. The panel file has to be in a 2:1 aspect ratio in order for it to completely wrap around the sphere. And the way that this particular panel module works is that it uses the planet geometry in Uniview, which normally wraps textures on the outside of the sphere, or they're meant to be seen from the outside, but since we're looking at this from the inside, we want to flip the image around, and which is what we have done here. So if you look, you can see that the text has been flipped around. So whatever image you use, you will have to reverse it as well. So what we will do is let's go ahead and pretend that we want to save this out as a completely different panel module. So instead of Panorama Template, I'm going to call this my underscore panel. That's changed the name of the folder, and I'm going to assume that that will be the name of the module itself. But everywhere that I see Panorama Template, I'm going to go ahead and change to my underscore panel. So here, and we won't add a new panorama image. We'll just use the old one that came with this, but we'll go ahead and change the name as well. And then finally, also the position file. So going through what we have in this folder, we have a license file, which you can edit to give people who download this the terms of whatever license you decided to use. There's also a module definition file, which if you open up in any text editor, you can also edit to change the panorama template to some other name, in this case it's my panorama or my pano. And let's go ahead to the mod file. The mod file appears in every single module in Uniview, and in this case the mod file has the old folder name, panorama underscore template. So again, I'm going to go ahead and change this to my panel here. And then this is the name of the position file. Since we had changed it to my panel-pos, that has to be altered as well. And finally, the last thing that we can change is the panorama space template, which is the name that we see in the object tree. So in this case, let's go ahead and change it to my space panel. The JPEG we're not going to change. We're going to keep. The position file contains the longitude and latitude of the panorama, so you should go ahead and alter this to the correct location of your panel on the Earth. These .cg files are for the shader, and we don't have to mess with those either, so I'm going to ignore those. And then finally, the last thing that we do need to alter is the shader.conf file. In this case, there's a panorama underscore template, which is the folder name that appears 3 times, so we need to switch that. And then finally, we also need to change the name of the image. And so this is the file that tells you what the image name is, and so you want to make sure that that is correct. So with that, we've made all the changes that we need to make. I'm going to go ahead and start Uniview, and since this is a custom module, I'm going to go ahead and open up the custom modules folder, drag this in, and actually have a copy of this in there already, so let's just go ahead and replace the old copy with a new copy. And I also need to edit my profiles. I'm going to edit my test profile and make sure that that module is in there. And I can confirm in this case that I had already added it previously, so it's there and turned on. We hit OK, and then we go ahead and start the test profile. We can close this. And now the module should be added, and if we check the object tree, you can see that my panel is indeed in there. Let's go ahead and orient ourselves. The Earth, and I'm going to go ahead and set the panel as the target, and let's fly into it. And as we get closer, you can see the panel auto-appearing, and now you can also see that the text reads correct, since we are looking from the inside of the sphere. So that is how you can create your own panorama using the World Views Network template files. Thank you for watching.